What's up guys, John here, and in today's video I'm going to do a review on Dodonpachi Resurrection for the Xbox 360, a game that I've been trying to find for quite a while now. The Dodonpachi series really blew up on the Xbox 360, and I played the original Donpachi and Dodonpachi games on a PS1 emulator because I could never afford them on the Saturn or the PS1. This is one of the cheaper entries in the series, and Dodonpachi Resurrection and Dodonpachi Sa-Daijo are two games that I've been pretty much looking for a couple of years now, as well as quite a few others. But anyways guys, Dodonpachi Resurrection on the Xbox 360, let's check it out. Okay guys, so this is my copy of Dodonpachi Resurrection. This is actually the copy that I purchased at MagFest from Video Games New York. And it was good having a vendor down there that actually sold new video games, so this is my trusty box opener here. Funny thing about the stickers on the front of these cases, whenever I see these factory stickers, it's a habit of mine to peel them off and stick them to the plastic front of the case. People in the comment section of some of my videos have really gotten on me in the past, but so this game says it comes with a soundtrack, but when I open the case up, you're not going to see a soundtrack. Well, that's because the soundtrack's actually underneath of the game. I'm not sure if that's how they do things in PAL regions, but it is like that in this case. And I remember when I handed my girlfriend the case when I got home, she held it up in her hand and she said, well, this one feels kind of heavy. So I knew there was something in there, but I was a little bit worried when I didn't see the soundtrack. Full manual, what you would expect from a game from that era. But yeah, guys, that's my copy of Dodonpachi Resurrection for the Xbox 360. So here we have Cave's 2008 release of Dodonpachi Resurrection, or known in Japan as Dodonpachi Diafukatsu. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. But anyway, the copy I managed to score is the PAL multi-region release. Now, this game had releases across multiple platforms, including arcade, Xbox 360, iOS and Android, just to name a few. And I will say, as the recording of this video, when I tried to look for any Dodonpachi game on the Android App Store, I don't have an iPhone, nothing came up. So that kind of sucks because I am kind of into those mobile shooters now. But anyway, sadly no PlayStation or Nintendo release, but that's okay because it, as well as many other shooters in the genre, brings something pretty unique to the Xbox 360, making it a pretty special system. The menu system in Dodonpachi Resurrection is pretty standard with options for training, replay data, screen adjustment, and sound. Now I'm pretty glad they added the training mode because in training mode you can play with each specific ship, with each specific power-up, and each specific level. Really allowing you to get a good feel for the game because for me, and I'm sure for many others, and especially people that aren't used to these type of games, when you jump right in and don't know the battle system, these games can be pretty intimidating. Now, once you're done fiddling with the menu system and you're ready to play the game, and you do hit the play option, you're greeted with 4 game modes: Arrange A, Arrange B, Novice, and Xbox 360. Novice and Xbox 360 modes are pretty much the same, just with different difficulties, and in Novice, I believe you don't have access to the online leaderboards, but we'll get more into that later. The Arrange modes have specific characteristics, like in Arrange A, you only have access to 1 ship and 1 special, and in Arrange B, you can pick your level, which is kind of like training mode. And that's cool and all, but I spend the majority of my time playing in Xbox 360 mode. Now, I know I'm going on and on and on about the different options of the game, but once you're ready to get into the game, you're in Xbox 360 mode, which is pretty much what this game is. There's a few things you can adjust. So you can adjust your ship stock up to 5 ships. Now, I do believe the default setting is 2, so you probably want to get in there and move it up to 5. You can also adjust the difficulty on a 1 to 5 scale, and you do have your choice between 3 different ships. There's a red one, a green one, and a blue ship. Now, I didn't notice one ship giving me a clear advantage over any other, but I would say that just me personally, I prefer the green ship. And you can pick your power up. You have Bomb, Power, and Strong. Now, Bomb and Strong are pretty much the same thing, except Strong offers a larger bomb stock, and Power adds to your regular and focus shot, but slows down your speed, depending on what you use, and we'll get more into the focus shot a little bit later. So before we get into the gameplay, I just want to talk about Cave for a second. So Cave is one of those companies, it's synonymous with shooters. It's certainly one of my favorites. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's one of my favorites. People talk about Cave and they talk about Treasure, and those are very trendy, companies, I feel like, in the world of retro gaming, especially with shoot 'em ups and people that are fans like myself. But, nobody gives credit to Technosoft. I hear nobody talking about Technosoft. They brought us a lot of the Thunder Force games. I mean, heck, Technosoft brought us Hyperduel. The great Hyperduel on the Sega Saturn, it's probably one of my top 2 favorite shooters of all time. And it's actually a game that I feel would benefit from a PS4 port. But anyway, so what Cave does and what makes them great in my opinion is they keep that retro aesthetic, all those pixelized graphics and all the game characteristics that made those type of shooters really, really great in arcades and some console games in the mid-90s. And they kept that same look and that same aesthetic. They improve upon the graphics in certain ways, and it's great. They also improve upon the gameplay. And I'm really happy to live in this day and age because shoot-em-ups or shmups or whatever you want to call them, spaceship shooter style of games are really making a revival. They have for the past couple of years. And I do believe it's people like myself that are getting a little bit older and just really fall in love with the gameplay. And these type of games are very, very addictive. So seeing them with these fresh coats of paint, with these new gameplay mechanics is just awesome. And I can't wait to see what comes out in 2019. As far as the controls go, nothing crazy to mention here, but the Xbox 360 controller works great, and all my hand movements felt very comfortable. Although I still feel like I could benefit from an Xbox 360 arcade stick. Now, as far as the gameplay goes in Dodonpachi Resurrection, now, I'm not a veteran to this series, and I don't know about every Dodonpachi game. I've only played a few, but I can tell you about this game. This game is very fluid, and it has very interesting mechanics that make it that way. So the first thing is you can see your hitbox right in the middle of your ship. It's like this blinking, glowing light. You can see it. You can see it against the enemy fire because the colors, they contrast pretty well, making it very easy to glide left and right across the screen, killing everything in sight. That's one of the mechanics that gives this game, or gives you, the player, a fair advantage over the game itself. Another thing is the hyper counter system. So pretty much there's a gauge at the top left-hand side of the screen. Once it fills up, you hit X, you enter hyper counter mode. Now, this is a mode that confused me for quite a while when I played this game, so I thought that you just turned invincible for a while. That's not the case. What happens is your fire pretty much turns invincible, so your fire will slice through all the enemy fire like a hot knife through butter, and also it's more powerful, so it kills the enemies more easily. Now, when you're in hyper counter mode, you want to use your regular or your spread shot as opposed to your focus shot, because like I said, your fire cuts through enemy fire like a hot knife through butter, so you want that bigger area to kind of cover most of the screen. So when you're in that hyper counter system mode, you want to make sure that you're using your regular shot. Now, your focus shot does still have a lot of benefits. It's really good for killing some of the tougher enemies, and some of the enemy fire, like the lasers and things like that, will only be counteracted by that focus shot. So it's really important that you use that, when you're trying to deal with boss battles or, kind of difficult parts of each level. Now, I know that's kind of a lot to explain, but just go get the game. Just go get the game and figure it out for yourself. You're going to have a ton of fun doing it. I mean, I know I did. And as far as the level goes and the level progression goes, there's 5 levels in the game. Not one level really stands out to me. They all kind of blend together. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It would have been cool if the levels did kind of branch in different directions, kind of like the Darius series or something like that. But again, I'm not complaining. Cave did an excellent job, as they always do with most of their shooters. Now, this isn't a very long game, and again, I'm not complaining. I don't mind when shooters only last 20, 25 minutes. I don't play these games because they're 100-hour RPGs or anything like that. But at the same time, I do feel like this game is long enough, and you got to understand, this is an arcade game. These games are meant to be played for short bursts, 20, 25 minutes. So, again, no complaints from me there. But, the price of this game as far as what you get, like I said earlier, this is one of the cheaper shooters you can get on the Xbox 360. And damn near all the shooters on the Xbox 360, especially the imports, are excellent. And in my opinion, they're some of the best shooters that you can find on Earth. Better than anything you can get for the Neo Geo they give the PS4 shooters that are coming out a run for their money. Dodonpachi Resurrection, you guys copping or what? I feel like this is an excellent shooter. Fans of the genre, this is definitely a must-own, and this PAL copy is in English, so that's very, very awesome. And it will play on a US Xbox 360. And the price on this, they still have it. Online retailers have it for like $50, $60. You do have to pay for shipping. I do believe this is sold out on PlayAsia's website, but there is a few others. If you really want to know, hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, or message me in the comments below. I will tell you where to get a copy of Dodonpachi Resurrection. And, or you can buy it on eBay, like used for $100 from a reseller. And guys, that brings me to my next point. Before I end this video, I want to talk about something that happened at MagFest. So when I was browsing around through the games, I was in where all the vendors are, I found a boxed copy of Invader for the Game Boy Advance. And for those of you that don't know, Invader's it's a very rare shooter that came out in PAL regions only, as far as I know, for the Game Boy Advance. So I saw it boxed, $50. I'm like, let me see that. Let me get that. So before I open it, I say, oh, is this original or is this a repro? She said it's original. I'm like, sweet. So I open it up and I look at the cart, and it's like bright neon colors and it's like crazy looking. And I'm like, are you serious? $50 for a repro cart? Just because it's a good game does not give resellers the right to sell repros for like 45, 50, 60 bucks. That's crazy. Unless it's a ROM that you made the game and you're distributing it on your own carts, I could see that because that's like your game and you're selling it. But 50, 60 bucks, I mean, come on, guys. Do not buy repros. And I love repros, don't get me wrong. But don't buy them. Don't line these people's pockets full of money. 50, 60 bucks for a repro. That is absolutely absurd. I could pay $11 and have the same thing. Probably look a lot better, too, as far as aesthetically speaking. So just be careful when you guys are shopping at those expos. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like this video. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace out.